Hey y'all, I hope you're having a not so anxious day. Today I want to hop on real quick and show you something that's been really helping with my anxiety, and it's these fidget toys. If you click on this video, chances are you might be curious about fidget toy, or you're someone like me who gets anxious pretty easily. It's kind of weird to say it out loud, but I can be a pretty anxious person. I've been struggling with anxiety, so much so that I was looking up stress balls on Amazon, and then I discovered these fidget toys from ONO. And obviously I can't decide, so I decided to order them all and try it out for you, and for me, of course. Okay, so before I get into sort of comparisons, I imagine everyone is anxious in their own way. So I thought it might be helpful to also share what I want to get out of these fidget toys. So I tend to pick on my skin, the skin on my hand in particular, when I'm feeling anxious. And I realize when I'm trying to focus or I'm in a focused state, I also tend to pick on my skin. So my anxiety really translates into feeling bored as well as trying to focus. It's gotten to a point where I'm kind of ashamed of letting others see my hands because I've gotten a lot of like red patches around every cuticle on every finger. So if you can relate to any of these, maybe it's time to look into these fidget toys. I've got these 4 fidget toys here, and let's see. Let's just start with the rollers. You can see that the color of them actually looks kind of funny because I felt like there could be other toys. Anyway, this is probably the most popular fidget toy from ONO. And as you can see, they're in different sizes. I believe this one is the kid size and it fits in my hand kind of like so. And then this is the actual adult size, and it's slightly wider than the rest of my palm. And for reference, I am, on the petite side, I am 5'3", and I actually initially ordered the adult size in the aluminum finish. So it definitely has that really premium feel when you roll it in your hands. It has that motion that feels really satisfying, which I enjoy. However, I ordered the smaller version because I started to notice after having it in my hands and just kind of rolling it casually for 10 minutes or so, my hand was getting a little tired, both in the wrist area as well as just like along my fingers. And that was when I started thinking, well, maybe I should get the smaller, lighter version. I think it's technically the kids version. You think you would like it, but I personally did not like it because it felt a little too light. It's lacking that premium, like smooth rolling feeling that this one was giving me. I think I have relatively small hands. I still feel like this one is a little too small for me. I felt like it could fall off if I'm not holding it tightly. I think I'm still on the fence about this one. It does feel really nice. I might keep it, but I'm gonna unfortunately have to say bye to this kids version, even though I am on the smaller side. Okay, that's enough for these rollers if you're considering them. I want to talk about actually my favorite one. I think this is actually the one that I'm keeping. Out of the 4 toys that I picked out, I probably had the least amount of hope for this one because it looks, pretty plain. This toy consists of 2 parts and they're connected by magnetics. So you can hear that clicking sound when I put them together. I like it because it's a lot more portable than this roller. Like for example, I would not take this on the go, but when I'm going out on walks, if I'm on a road trip or just anywhere that's not my office, I feel the most comfortable taking this in my pocket, and it's pretty thin. I think I'm drawn to this toy because of the magnetic motion and feedback it gives you. And this feedback that you're getting takes no effort, which I think is actually pretty important for someone who's anxious. For example, this roller is sort of my benchmark, right? When I'm rolling, subconsciously, I do worry about it like falling off of my hands. I know you might not feel this way, so you should try them all. But for me, I do feel like there is a little bit of that active mind focus on the roller. I think it really comes down to your personal preference. But when I'm engaging with a fidget toy, I am not looking for a toy where I have to divert some of my energy onto the toy itself. Like for example, with this one, because you're actively rolling and you're worried about it falling off your hands, you just feel kind of distracted, if that makes sense. And that's not really what I enjoy. I will say there are two things that I think you should keep in mind if you're looking for this toy, because this might be a deal breaker for you. The first thing is, this little guy is not entirely silent. Even if you're just kind of pushing it forward and doing this motion, I guess I can get it closer to my mic. You can still hear a little bit of that sound. This sound is not super detectable if you're in a virtual meeting or if you're just around friends. I don't personally find that distracting at all. However, if you're not twisting it between your thumbs and you're doing kind of this motion, this can get a little louder. And I think it's probably not socially acceptable in meetings when you're playing around it like so. At least I wouldn't. And I personally don't like this clicking sound either. It doesn't distract me by any means, but if you're looking for an entirely silent fidget toy, unfortunately this one wouldn't be my top pick. It'll probably be either the roller or this other toy, which I'm gonna get into in a little bit. The other point that I wanted to mention is that I know it's kind of sounding contradictory, but as much as this one feels like it could fall off my hands, maybe because I tend to be a little bit more careful, I have not dropped this at all. However, I think I've dropped this like a couple times already. It hasn't really shown any like wear and tear, which I'm glad. I think it has a lot to do with the magnetic, that it's not entirely secure. So you can either drop one of them or both of them. I just find myself being a little more clumsy with this one. If dropping this on the ground is something that bothers you, I think this could be a con. Okay, the last toy is this little guy. I had really high hopes for this toy because look at how small it is, and it just felt like it's something that you can easily carry it in your pocket and just, you know, kind of cute. However, I didn't enjoy this toy nearly as much as I thought I would. I think the biggest con of this toy is that it does not provide any of the feedback motion like this one. You see what I'm talking about? Or like this one where it has that like magnetic feeling of back and forth that I find satisfying. This one is just a little ball that you can play around with here. You can twist it, and I think that's about it. I guess you can also push this ball from behind. But lack of feedback really is the biggest con for this toy, and I think it kind of defeats the purpose. If you think about what you're looking for from your fidget toy, especially if you have the habit of like scratching your head or like picking your skin, you are looking for that feedback and I guess sometimes even the pain. But anyway, you're looking for some sort of sensation or a certain motion. This one is most likely not going to work out. I really like the idea behind this fidget toy though, because I think it's supposed to mimic when you're scrolling on your phone. I'm actually recording on my phone so I can't show you, but just imagine when you're kind of holding it on your hands and you're doing this motion. This is kind of what you do when you're scrolling on like Instagram or TikTok. So to a certain degree, this is kind of like vaping if you're a smoker. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I think my favorite is definitely this one because it provides just the right amount of feedback. The only con that I think you should keep in mind is the clicking sound. Otherwise, this is a super portable toy. If you're just looking for something that you can have in your office and you have slightly bigger hands and you don't mind getting a little tired in your wrist area, this is a really well-designed fidget toy, and it's come in like various colors, so you don't have to pick this rose gold color, even though I think it looks pretty good. I know I've spoken a lot about these 4 fidget toys. I'm really curious to hear what helps with your anxiety. I've sort of been experimenting with a bunch of stuff, like including, as you can sort of see, these gummies, which, spoilers alert, it's not really working out for me, hence that's why I still have a majority of it left. If you have any tips on what really helped with your anxiety, I would love to hear them in the comments. Again, I hope you're having a not so anxious day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.